Alright, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to the series where we're trying to beat Elden Ring as a soldier of Godrick. In the last episode, we got the Frenzied Flame, beat Sewer Moog, and we beat Morgott. And in this episode, we are going to beat Fire Giant, and I wanted to progress Ronnie's questline some by getting into Nokron. But starting off here, we're going to go ahead and head up to the mountaintops of the Giants. Now, I actually really like the Mountain of the Giants area. I think it's a really cool place. I know I say a lot of things are really annoying and that shouldn't be in the game, but I actually really enjoy the mountaintops of the Giants area because there really isn't too many super annoying mobs. But we're going to grab the map fragment and then we're going to head up to the other area of mountaintops of the Giants. Now, there is one rather annoying mob in Mountaintops of the Giants, and that is the dude with the Rivers of Blood. I actually really hate that dude because he, like, I tried to get the Sacred Tier in that church, and he just absolutely murders me every single time. But we're going to grab the Smithing Stone 3 bell bearing here, and then we're going to move to going to the place where Commander Niall, I think that's his name, is at. And I'm just going to grab the Side of Grace here. We're going to beat him in a later video when we go to the Erdtree. Then we're going to go and grab the Sacred Tier at the church. And then go to grab the map fragment in the area where the Fire Giant is. Then grab the Sacred Tier from the church with the dude with the Rivers of Blood. And then the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, which is right above that church. Then we got the Side of Grace right outside of Fire Giant. And then we're going to get the weapon that we're going to use for this episode, which is the War Pick. I was actually really excited for the War Pick, but while I ran past all of the Soldier of Godricks that were using it, it looks so much bigger than it actually is when you use it. Because I was like already kind of planning out an Ash of War to use while we fought like the bosses, but once I actually got it, I was like, oh my god, this thing is tiny. Like, it is so small. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut ahead to when we get the War Pick because it did take quite a long time. So now that we got the War Pick, we're gonna go ahead and level it up all the way to plus 18. That way we can then put the heavy affinity on it by going and grabbing the next thing we want, which is Cragblade. I had never used Cragblade before, and honestly, I was not too impressed with it. But we're going to go and get another larval tier, and first we're actually going to progress Raya's questline here to get the invitation to Volcano Manor so we can fight Rykard. Rykard is going to be a very difficult boss fight for us doing Soldier of Godrick. So I'm actually going to ask you guys whether or not we should actually do the Serpent Hunter, or should we just try and beat it while going in the lava and hitting Rykard. Because I feel like this could be potentially a place where we could get stuck trying to beat all the Remembrance bosses, because we literally cannot hit him unless we go into the lava. So let me know in the comments below what we should do for Rykard. But now we are going to go ahead, defeat this Grafted Scion for a larval tier, and then we're going to head up to Raya Lucaria and respec into Strength. I actually much prefer playing as Strength than Dex, because at the earlier parts of the game, I genuinely enjoyed it so much. But now we are heading through Caria Knight Castle, or whatever it's called, to first defeat Loretta, which I actually really like Loretta. It's not a hard boss fight, and it's a really cool moveset. I really enjoy the like magical knight on a horse. Like, I think that's pretty cool. It's like a good little take on the like tree sentinels, along with a magic move set, which I think is really cool. But we're obviously super over leveled for this area, so it's an easy boss fight. not hard. But the War Pick, I love its moveset. The only thing I wish was different about it was that it was a little bit longer, because the way that those soldiers hold it, they look so much bigger than it is when I use it. So I don't know if I'm super tall or what, but it's like a tiny little moveset. But we're gonna talk to Mommy Rani up here and progress the quest line of hers and head down to Nokron. Nokron is one of the most beautiful areas in Elden Ring. I genuinely love Nokron. But in Nokron is genuinely the coolest boss fight. I did not know it, but it's actually the hardest boss fight in Souls history. And that is me. So now that we have defeated the hardest boss in Souls history, we make our way down to lighting all of the pillars for the Regal Ancestral Spirit. Now, I'm gonna be honest, before today, I had never fought this boss before and did not know how to fight this boss. I had a really hard time finding all of these things, and I think that was harder than the boss fight itself. But eventually we get all of those pillars lit and we get to the spirit. I was actually like super confused being teleported. I thought that that thing was gonna come alive and I was gonna fight it in that little arena. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know if I was super over-leveled for this area or what. And I will say I was definitely over-leveled for this area because I did a ton of damage and this thing did like no damage to me, so I was not worried in the slightest after I got hit. But besides being over-leveled, I really enjoyed this boss fight. I loved how visually pleasing all of the attacks were and how all the sounds of the area and the cave, it was just really cool. And I also think the boss design is super cool. It's like a skeleton spirit horse thing. I don't know how this plays into the lore any, but I thought this boss was super cool. I had never fought it before. There was another boss that I wanted to fight today, which was for Citisax, because I thought that they were down here, but I genuinely couldn't find them. I didn't know where it was. So I'm gonna have to look that up to find where that is to do that for next episode. But we defeated the Regal Ancestral Spirit, and that was actually like a super easy boss fight. I was definitely over leveled, but it was super easy. But now that I've beaten this boss, I'm gonna go down and continue Ronnie's questline into the Nokron City. Now this is where my bad parkour skills show. I'm so bad at Elden Ring parkour. Luckily I only died like a couple times jumping over all that, and then we get the Finger Slayer Blade. I thought this was a weapon. I tried to equip it later, but it didn't work because I wanted to see what it looked like, but it was not a weapon. But we ended up going back up to Limgrave and going down the well because I thought that Blide was down here. And I also wanted to beat the Ancestral Spirit here too, but I thought Blide was going to be here for Ronnie's questline, but he wasn't. But I lit all the pillars again. There was even more than the other one. And we fight this Ancestral Spirit, which is pretty much the exact same fight of the last one. I actually feel like I struggled a little bit more with this one because I felt like he moved around a bit more. But again, something that's so annoying about the War Pick is how small it is. I felt like I missed a ton of attacks on Ancestor Spirit. But now after we've done that, we're going to go back to Ronnie, talk to her for a little bit, progress her quest line a little bit more, and get the statue thing. I also don't remember what to do after that with the statue, so I'm going to have to look that up after this. But now it's time to head up to the mountaintop with the giants and fight Fire Giant. Fire Giant is a love-hate relationship with me. I really enjoy fighting Fire Giant, but my very first time ever playing Elden Ring, I remember counting this to the T. I fought Fire Giant and died to Fire Giant 232 times. It was a while. I ended up taking a year-long break from Elden Ring because I couldn't beat it. Now, I was like 2 or 3 years younger than what I am now, and I was a little bit more immature, and I was also in high school. So now I can fight a boss no problem, like over and over and over again. But 232 times is a lot of times. So I know the Fire Giant fight pretty well. But this is also the first time I've ever fought Fire Giant without a bleed weapon. So this fight genuinely took forever. The only bad thing about fighting Fire Giant is getting stuck in a corner and getting hit. But if you can stay away from those rock areas and when fighting Fire Giant, it makes the fight so much easier. And to be honest, I think the first phase is harder than the second phase. I know that's probably a super hot take, and no one would really agree with me, but I don't think Fire Giant's second phase is hard at all. I genuinely think if it was just his second phase, I could beat Fire Giant first try, and maybe even beat him like just as level 1. Like, it's really not that hard of a boss fight. So now that I got him to the second phase, it's pretty much just a free fight from here. You wait around for him to do his little attacks, then you go hit his leg or his hands. Secondly, I want to say that this second phase fight took forever. Like, he runs around so much. I eventually run out of flask, and Torrent dies. So it just ends up with me having to run around and chase him around. But I'll let you guys just watch for yourself and enjoy this annoying fight. So now that Fire Giant is dead, we can finally go on to burning down the Erdtree. And the next episode, I really want to make sure and kill Forsythisax and figure out how to get down to that area. I know you have to do the duo gargoyle fight, which is probably going to be really difficult to do, but I'm going to try my best. And I do just want to say thank you guys so much for all the recent support on my videos. My first video has been absolutely blowing up, so thank you guys for all of the love. But if you are enjoying the series, please make sure to subscribe and like the video. And yeah, that's it guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.